Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. If you're loading into NHL 23 for the first time and you pre-ordered the X Factor edition, you'll notice you have a choice pack waiting for you from the first event, NHL Hut Spotlight. I think that's what it's called. Um, and I'm going to go over some of the cards that are available. I'm not going to tell you whether you should choose one or the other. My point of view is coming from a competitive player that is free to play this year. In general, I always think you should choose who your favorite player is. You probably shouldn't weigh too many content creators' opinions one way or the other. But we're going to go over some of the options, what I like, what I don't like. So let's get into it. We're going to start with both of the women's players options, and the first one being Megan Keller. I think it's great that they added women into the hut this year. I think for me personally, as you can see with some of the attributes, the slap shot power and wrist shot power is like mid 70s. If you're playing for competitive reasons, I think that's far too low. Looking at Sarah Nurse, she has similar attributes with that. I don't think a lot of these shots that you take with them will go in, but if you like the player, then you should probably take them. Now we're going to look at two players I'm going to lump together. That's Johnny Gaudreau and Alex DeBrincat. These are two smaller players, but early on in Hut, I don't really think height matters that much, especially because speed is so important. Whenever we're looking at Johnny Gaudreau, he has 90 excel and 90 speed for his base 84 version, which goes up to 92, 92 whenever you upgrade him to 88. I think this is a great card to pick early on. Early Hut always dominated by speed, especially speed up the board, so I don't think you can go wrong with this pick. But if I was choosing between the two, I think I would go with Alex DeBrincat. Very similar attributes, but the main difference are the abilities. So DeBrincat has Snipe. It only costs 4 points to activate. NHL 23, I think, will be dominated by far wrist shots from middle of the zone all the way up to near the blue line. With Snipe activated, they'll go in a little bit more. Cross creases are a lot harder to score, so I think this is going to be an underrated ability moving forward. And at 84 overall, 90 speed, 90 excel, you don't really have to upgrade him. He'll be good for, I would probably say, a month or two, at least on the third line. Looking at defensemen and starting with Bowen Byram, I really like his build. He's 6'1". The only thing I don't like about it is that he's 190 pounds. I've always felt some of his builds in prior versions of the game were a little light. He has trouble hitting, but he does have Heat Seeker. This wasn't a viable zone ability in NHL 22, but in NHL 23, with the increased impact of screens, deflections, and tips, I have a feeling this is something that might be useful. He's also quick enough to keep up with some of the faster forwards. Zach Whitecloud is the next defenseman, and unless you're one of the 3 people in North America that are probably a Zach Whitecloud fan, I would say avoid this card. He's a little bigger than some of the other ones that are available, but he's a right-handed defenseman with gold 1T. If you've played NHL 22, you know that goalies with their glove side on their left hand, which is the majority of them, have an easy time stopping one-timers from the point from right-handed shots. Assuming that carries forward to NHL 23, it's pretty much a worthless ability on this card specifically. But like I said, if you're a Zach Whitecloud fan, go ahead, take him. The defenseman I'm recommending to pick from my point of view, besides being a Penguins fan, is Chris Letang. He has a decent build. He's 6 foot tall. He's an inch shorter than Byron, but also 11 pounds heavier, which I do think helps out a little bit. He's fast enough to keep up with some of the speedier forwards, but he also has Stick 'em Up as a zone ability. It's only 4 points to activate. Super impactful, especially in NHL 23 where stick checking seems a little bit more difficult. It's a really good ability to use. He's quick, so I would say if you're deciding between the 3 defensemen, I would go Letang. The last 3 forwards I'm lumping together, they're all either 6 foot or 6'1" and between about 180 to 190 pounds. And I don't think there's a bad choice between the 3. Starting with Trevor Zegras, he does have a really good zone ability, elite edges. I think this was underrated in NHL 22. And he has a decent shot, and he's pretty quick as well. One thing I will say, he does have the skilled up superstar ability. It's useless unless you're going for Michigan attempts. Me personally, I'm probably going to choose his X Factor out of my choice pack because I do like going for those Michigan and Zegras flips. So if you have his X Factor, obviously don't take this. But if you don't have his X Factor, it's a pretty good choice due to his zone ability. Jared McCann's a great card, and he has possibly my favorite zone ability in the game, which is Unstoppable Force. It seems like hitting's pretty effective in NHL 23. NHL 22 is kind of tough to knock people off the puck, but 23, the hitting does seem bumped up a little bit more. So I could see Unstoppable Force being really good again. He's 6'1". Decent face-off ratings to start the year. He's quick. And as you can see, at 88 overall, he has 92 wrist shot and slap shot power. I would pick him. The only reason I'm not is I'm probably going to pick him with my free 88 overall MSP choice pack whenever I finish those objectives. The player I'm going to go with is David Pastrnak. Like I mentioned, whenever I get my free 88 overall choice pack, I'm going to go with Jared McCann. Pastrnak at 84 overall if you don't upgrade him. Still pretty quick, 89 excel, 89 speed, decent shot. And then if you do decide to upgrade him, his shot does get pretty good. Solid hand stats. He's 6 foot tall, so he's not as small as like the Brinket or Gaudreau. He's kind of in between, but still pretty quick. And I think it's good early on in NHL HUT to have those quick wingers. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe. I'll have gameplay tips throughout the year, which in my opinion, patting myself on the back, are the best ones on YouTube. I will be free to play this year, so I'll be posting team updates on here, TikTok, I guess YouTube Shorts, because that's a thing. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.